Hello and welcome to the Animators Shake-Up, a webcast where animators talk about animation. On this episode, I chat with Chad, when the Is Does, an animator of hundreds of internet animations and his own pilot episode. On this episode, we chat about the struggles of art block and finding inspiration to make vast quantities of animations. Why not listen along while you work on your own animations and have us for company? So sit back, relax, as we shake it up with some fellow animators on the Animators Shake-Up. Hello Chad, welcome to the Shake-Up Ice Cream Parlor. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, glad to be here.
Wonderful, wonderful. I noticed that you have got a milkshake in front of you there. What have you gone for?
I've got the Oreo milkshake from McDonald's.
Oh, nice. I don't think we have the Oreo one in the UK. I think there was an Oreo milkshake in like Burger King in the UK.
Is there?
But I think we're kind of stuck to our boring flavours in McDonald's in the UK. We just have chocolate, strawberry or vanilla, and that's all we get.
Yeah.
They do like McFlurries though, so that's something.
Those are great. I like the Oreo one, but sometimes the chunks of Oreo stop like the flow of the rest of the milkshake, so sometimes you gotta like crush that Oreo so the milk can go through. Yeah,
or you got to like blow it out the other end.
Other than that, it's a perfect milkshake.
It's a dream. Yeah, because this is actually hilarious because my choice of milkshake for today was also Oreo. I literally had it today earlier. But they actually blended this one, the one that I had today earlier, and this one that I've got in front of me now. They blended it so well that there's just no chunks. So hopefully you'll find in your one as well, in front of you there's just going to be no chunks, perfectly smooth Oreo milkshake.
Unfortunately, mine has chunks in it, so that's okay. I can crush it on myself. It's no big deal.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, sorry about that. I don't know why they gave... Maybe you asked for a chunky version.
Maybe.
I asked for maybe it's because I said smooth. Can I have a smooth Oreo milkshake? They were like, yes. It's like you get orange juice with the bits, without the bits.
Yeah.
It's the same with Oreo milkshakes as well. Oh gosh. Yeah, so I mean, tell us a bit about yourself. Like what do you do? You're an animator, you make lots of sort of web animations. Tell us about that.
Mm-hmm. Well, I am just a little animator, and a lot of people ask me like what I animate on. I just use my my iPad. I think it's like the 5th generation one, but I've been animating for like a little over like around like 2.5 years, just about. I think I started like summer of 2022, and I've been just kind of going since. I made my own animated pilot. Like it's coming up a year now since I released Destiny Star Delivery. It's been like a year. Actually, it's like in like what? Wow, like 3 days. It's going to be a year on the dot since I uploaded that.
Are you going to do like an anniversary thing?
Probably not. I just
an extra special poster.
It's just like oh cool, it's been a year.
Tick. Yeah. So I mean that was such a crazy feat though, really. Like, so you've been animating for 2 years. Yeah, it's brilliant as well. Like you've been animating for 2 years, and then how long was this sort of pilot episode? It was like 15 minutes, wasn't it? The length of
it was 30 minutes. It was like it was like 30 minutes.
Oh my gosh, that is like crazy. How long did that take you to make? Because this is
a little over a year and a half.
Wow.
And I did it
because it's like alongside all your other animations, and you're making so many as well. So.
Yeah, I was at first I was doing like daily uploads, and like but as soon as I like created Mavo, that's when like I don't know what happened, something just sparked. But like basically I love telling the story of why I even made Destiny Star Delivery. So I was working this really whole bad job, dude. I worked in a factory. And it was horrible. And the only like enjoyment I had was listening to music. And I got this playlist of like a bunch of like chiptune songs, and I was like, oh, this is kind of awesome. I wish that there was like a cartoon with this music. The closest thing I could think of was Adventure Time, but it was like way different from what I was listening to. And so I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna make my own thing. And so because I had no experience with animation, I was like, you know what? I have to create the most easy to draw characters because I'm going to be animating this over and over again. I'm going to be drawing these little guys over and over again. So I made them super simple. And then because it was so new, it was fun, and so I just kept going with it. And like, I thought I was going to take a month. No, dude, I was wrong, man. It was a little over a year and a half, but I kept going. I never lost motivation or passion. I just kept because I love the process. If you're going to do anything creatively, you have to enjoy the process more than anything, because that's kind of the foundation of the enjoyment. Because it's nice to see the final product is at the end, so you have to get used to and enjoy what you're currently doing in order to even get to the final product. That's at least my philosophy. But yeah, that job sucked. It was terrible. And I got fired, which was the greatest thing ever because I was surrounded by I was surrounded by like horribly toxic chemicals. I got made fun of for wearing a gas mask, which was hilarious because like, sorry that I'm not trying to die. Yeah. They were like, oh, what are you wearing a gas mask for? You look like a fool. I'm like, sorry, this barrel with all these chemicals that I'm surrounded by says may cause cancer. I think I'm going to wear a gas mask.
It's like toxic chemicals plus toxic work environment.
Yeah, like honestly, the guys there were actually they were stupid. They were quite stupid. Yeah. What do you mean, man? There's a fan above you that will suck up all the powdery chemicals. Yeah, dude, it has to go past your face in order to go in the fan. So
oh, gosh.
I'm very glad I got fired there because
wait, is it because you're wearing your mask too much?
No.
You're making us look lame, man. Get out.
I was rushed to basically I had 2 hours to mix all these chemicals together, and it was getting harder and harder every day because there was so much stress on it. So I'm just like, let me just fill in the measurements, and I think I messed up 2 times, and then which honestly, it was understandable. You have to be diligent. This stuff goes in I think we were building barbed wire. I don't even know. But I'm if you mess up the barbed wire, the bridge could fail or whatever. I don't know. But I'm glad I got fired because then I got to pursue animation, which is great. Getting fired was good.
It opens new doors, doesn't it? I suppose is a nice way of looking at it. If something, I mean, for anyone, it's if something doesn't either meet your expectations or you feel like you've been pushed out of something, it's almost more encouragement to move you to something else anyway, and it shouldn't really, it could end up like you now. It's just wow, I'm doing what I love, which is awesome.
Oh yeah.
It's so good. I mean, because actually, to sort of go back to the previous thing you said you were making all these very simplistic characters for your series. Was that where have I said that, if I say Marvo, is that how it's pronounced?
Yes, Marvo.
Yeah, brilliant. Is that where their design was conceived as well, or was that prior to that?
No, I made Marvo for Destiny Star Delivery, but then I made him my mascot to kind of promote the Destiny Star Delivery episode, but he just got more popular than I expected, so I was like, well, I just kind of got to ride this now.
Nice. So. That's so good though, because I mean, it's like having a named celebrity for a movie.
Yeah.
So you can take this character and you can put them into any kind of series you want, and it's like having that familiar face in its own thing. So that's really nice when you can really build a community around an identity. Sort of really helps with that kind of stuff. Whether you'd want to take them into a different universe or have them all end up splicing together, or, there's just so many options with that. But I didn't realize that he was made specifically for that show. So that's really interesting. I'm glad that you got away from those toxic chemicals. Maybe the chemicals are what made the people there toxic? Who knows?
Yeah, they were really, really stupid. It was like they were really dumb.
It was probably the chemicals. Yeah.
It was.
Just did something to their brain. Oh man. And because you go on, yeah.
I'm not even being mean. Like they were actually like really unintelligent.
It just is that way.
I hated being around it, so I'm like, let me just do animation instead.
I think the worst is when you are surrounded by people like that, and often they are in a position where they have to be your, in quotation, superiors, and you're like, why? Why do I have to listen to this? Oh man.
They weren't even my boss was nice. My boss was my dad's friend. That's how I got nepotism to get that job. So, but it's just the people that I worked with, they were just really stupid. But my boss was great. He was very nice.
Yeah, that makes a huge difference. If the boss is in that kind of realm, then it's just I don't know how anyone can work those jobs. It's crazy. But so you were saying you were at one point making an animation a day, which is absurd, awesome, and absurd. But have you like kept count of how many you've done? Have you ever looked back and counted them up?
I don't even think. I think I have no idea. First thing that comes to mind is I think I have 100 videos. I don't really have I have no idea of how many videos I've done. I think first number that comes to mind is 100. I guess.
It's probably more than that, I reckon. I reckon it's got to be more, yeah. Do you ever watch them back? Or do you just, done it
I go on binges. I'm like, let me just look at my old videos, and I'm like,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's quite nice. It's almost like a documentation. Is this something I'm quite curious about? Do you ever find that in the things that you're working on, you sort of subliminally document, because it's so regular, do you subliminally document parts of your life in them, or do you have associations with previous parts in your life with a particular animation that you did at that time?
Yeah, that does happen. Like when I was making the beginning of DSD, I remember it being spring, and I remember I was playing I played a lot of Rivals of Aether. And I would animate for a bit, and then I would play Rivals of Aether. It's like a Smash Brothers clone. And I just barely remember that. And I would wake up at 9, animate until 12, play Rivals of Aether, and then go on a walk in the spring day, and it was really nice. Wow. I remember that very vividly. And I tried going back. I'm like, well, it's spring again. Let me try and going on these walks again to kind of relive it. I can't. It's just not the same. I think I needed that, I think I needed to be in that mindset of working on a pilot in order to make it feel the same. So I'm sad about that, but honestly, I'm just glad I have the vivid memory.
It's so interesting that, because I completely get a very similar thing where I only feel like I can enjoy other things if I am working on something for myself. That's a staple part of my life diet.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I'm not sure if you feel the same. If you're making so much, I assume you would.
Can you elaborate on that? I feel like I do feel that way.
Possibly. I'll try and elaborate. So if I am not working on something, I just do not, everything that I'm doing just doesn't feel like it retains in my memory. Everything feels kind of bland. And then if I try and remember back to that time, I can't. And I can only remember a time if I was working on something that I can relate it to at the same time.
Wow. I feel
I hadn't really thought about that before, but yeah.
I feel like I feel that way because I haven't been really uploading as much, and it's been hard to I basically have been consuming The Last of Us and The Last of Us 2 for a year, just and a bit of Walking Dead as well. It's the only stuff that I can just enjoy without a single thought. But I used to be I used to watch a bunch of really niche like animation movies because I love like small like indie projects. Like one of my favorites is A Town Called Panic. There's like a few movies of it. I love that stop motion like film series. And I just haven't been able to get into it. But when I was watching it, I was working on stuff. So I feel like I feel like that, and I'm like, oh dang, why can't I enjoy these animations? And I think it's just because, or why can't I get that much into it? Because just haven't been uploading, or I haven't been like posting as much, or making really as much. So I'm like, man, I think I just gotta be in a constant state of creating to like. It's got to be a lifestyle. Creation is a lifestyle, I think. You know, because I've been doing it for so consistently for a while. It's like in my blood, man.
Yeah, this is it, because like my mind just shuts down trying to think about what life must be like to be someone who is not a creative or does not think like a creative. That I just do not get it. I'm like, what are you getting from this? It seems odd and it seems super like in my own head, but I'm like, I just don't understand what anyone does, you know, without
I think about that a lot. I'm like, how I think about that a lot. I would feel very sad if I mean, now that I do creative stuff, I can only think of sadness if I don't have any creative outlet in my life. So I can't even like fathom what other people are like, what people who don't have like a creative brain are like. The thing is, everybody can be creative. You just have to have enough passion and like determination to do it. So people are like, oh, man, I'm not creative. Everybody's creative. You just gotta like, it also is like, you gotta have the tools. Like, not everybody has animation software. Everybody has pen and paper. So, but
no excuses.
Yeah, basically.
That's it. Yeah. It's a really weird thing, but I feel like if we're just two creatives talking about it, and we need to bring someone else in who is not creative, and we say like, what on earth is happening in your life? What do you do? And we can we can grill them. That's what we need. Chat to someone who's got nothing to do with animation or creation of any sort. How do you live? Like, what?
Yeah.
Oh dear. But I mean, speaking of like coming up with ideas and creating things, like, you know, when you were making all these, or, you know, maybe less frequently now, but still, you know, you're still making a lot. Like, what is it that you do to come up with your ideas? Because like the energy of your animations it's infectious.
Thank you.
It's just so much like buzz about them. But
That's
yeah,
a wonderful comment. Thank you.
Infectious, what a word. But yeah, like what is it that sort of makes you go, oh, I'm going to animate that?
There's a few factors. For Destiny Star Delivery, my biggest inspiration is the music. So what I would do for every scene, I would listen to a song that I really liked, and I would play out a scene in my head, and I would like write down what they would say, but it would all have to line up with the song. I would listen to the song, whatever vibe the song gave me, that's what the scene would be. But when it comes to like videos, I just, whatever is like the stupidest, most like just nonsensical thing, it's just like, oh my God, this is so funny and ridiculous and like stupid that I have to animate this. It just has to be like, it has to captivate me just by how stupid the idea is. Cause I love like, I love stupid videos. They're just so funny, you know?
Yeah. No, it's because I think I was chatting to a guy called Victor Healy a couple of weeks back, and he was saying, because he makes quite frequent animations as well, but he said he needs them to be things that are made and completed very quickly, which obviously Destiny Star wasn't. But do you feel that with these kind of like short video things that you get inspiration from with those kind of projects, do you feel the need to, I need to get this out as soon as possible. I need to work on this while I still find this funny, or
Yeah, yeah. Because with the like, I think I don't know if it's just summer or it's also with like just Instagram's like AI thing and like TikTok, like maybe or maybe not getting shut down. People are fluctuating through each of these platforms: YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. So it's kind of hard to get consistent numbers now. So that makes me overthink about what I'm posting. So even though I have to make something that I find that I enjoy and what I find funny, but when I find a joke or like something I want to animate, and I play it in my head over and over again, it like withers away. The funniness withers away. So I'm like, yeah, I do have that urge to like kind of get it as soon as possible, because sometimes I'm like, when I hear the joke over and over again, I start to overthink, and I'm like, oh my god, is this funny? You know, that happens. But yeah, sometimes I'm like, oh man, I really want to get this out as soon as possible. But the projects that I put a lot of effort into don't really need that, but they are a lot harder to do just for how long they take.
Yeah, it sort of goes back to what you said first. You know, you got to find something that keeps you engaged, keeps you like loving it every time you come back. And I think actually choosing what the project is going to be is probably the hardest part of
that. My god, yeah.
If it's going to be a long road, I could have really loved this music to make something.
The thing is, I have goldfish brain, so I can listen to a song.
Nice.
No, like I've listened. Songs don't get old for me. That's why I was able to make Destiny Star Delivery.
I have exactly the same thing, and it drives my partner insane because like often when I create stuff, I have to have like it's the same for all my uni friends when I shared a house with them as well. I have to have like the music on, usually out loud, because I like a space that I can move around in the music, but I will have the same track on repeat, and for some reason my brain just goes into this kind of like haze of just creativity when it's just the same thing. I like get into such a vibe of one headspace, and I've done this for revision as well. When I have that, I used to have like a particular piece of music on loop for each subject, and I'd come back to that same one, but I haven't heard anyone else have that. So it's interesting for you to say that is something similar for you as well. Like you just have. Do you listen to the same one on repeat when you're working on a particular thing, or do you like cycle, or did you cycle through?
What I do
like a load of things
is I go on a walk and I just like listen to it on repeat, and then I put the song into the software while I'm animating it, so I hear it while I'm animating it. But for some people, that might make them drive them crazy because they're hearing the same song over again. But I need that, like I need that reminder of like what I'm animating. You know?
Yeah, it's like your tone sheet of like, you know, what is the energy for this? That's how I kind of see it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it doesn't drive me insane. Glad I'm not the only one.
Yeah, I have major goldfish brain. Like I could just listen to the same song. Yeah.
It's your secret sauce. That's what it is. It's like that's it. The power of the goldfish brain. It shouldn't be undervalued. I think. It's a superpower.
It's a tool. And it's a tool if you use it.
Yeah, that's the right word for it. Yeah. And you, in the past, have told me what some of your style inspirations have been, but I'm sure it'd be quite interesting for the others as well to sort of know where a lot of the style of your work has come from. We've talked about where your story ideas come from, but like before you mentioned like the Tamagotchi series as one example.
Many people don't know that there's not one, but two Tamagotchi movies. They are beautiful looking movies. I just love backgrounds. I love the colors. I just love those movies. I mean, they're a kid's movie. The writing isn't anything to write home about, but I just love looking at it. Like I could turn the audio of the Tamagotchi movie off and just listen to like really good music. And that would be like, I would have a grand old time, you know? So, but I do love the Tamagotchi movies. Yes, they're great. visually.
Yeah. So was it mostly like the color palettes, or was it the character designs? Like, what was it that like drew you to that? Because like your frame rates are usually so high in your web animations. I doubt that was in the Tamagotchi movie. So you've kind of spliced.
No. I think
styles.
I just made a really bad decision. I was like, high FPS means smoother animation, even though that's not true at all.
Yeah.
Like the last scene in Destiny Star Delivery, I animated that at 28 FPS. Like, why did I do that? I don't even know. There was like 5,000. There was 5,000 frames. That was ridiculous.
Like, how do you export this then? So, what kind of frame rate do you export the video at when it's the full thing? Because are you losing frames then?
No. I would animate. Okay, so what I do is I animate each scene separately, and then I put it. I add the scenes all together. So some of them are like at 30 FPS, and some are at 28. Just for like
but when you export this final timeline, when it's all together,
I don't know. I have no idea.
You should check that, because you might be losing a lot of your work there.
Oh God!
I know.
It's probably at 30 FPS.
Yeah, because sometimes they won't include.
I better be at 30 FPS.
It might be alright. Hopefully we got lucky. Oh man.
Yeah, nobody had really a lot of complaints about the people. People were criticizing the audio. People were giving me a lot of tips and criticism about the audio and the mixing and all that, which was great because I knew nothing. So it was good to get that like criticism so I can make it better. A lot of people not bother, but like they tell me about how like they want episode 2. I'm gonna officially announce it. I have not started it. I have.
That's great.
Well, actually, okay. I'm gonna retract that. I have the story and the music picked out, and I have all the voice actors picked. Everybody's gonna be returning. I haven't storyboarded anything yet, but all I gotta say is that when I start it, it's gonna be great. It's gonna be great. The story is, I don't want to say too much, but like the story is like the story. I'm not gonna like say how good it is, but I'm just gonna have much more fun making this one than the previous one.
That's great.
That's about as much as I'm gonna say.
That's it. That's good. Yeah, like leave the sort of teaser there. It's nice. And if you haven't watched it yet, after this podcast, I'll leave a link directly to Destiny Stars so people can check out that
thank you
pilot as well. But yeah, then the next one, 2.5 years, should we say? That's the way.
Longer, man. I don't even know.
Oh man,
I want to work on it, but like it is like I now know how long it might take, and I'm like, oh my God, I have to do that again.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, why does animation take so long? It's so lame. I have an idea. Why can't it just be made? I'm not done with AI.
Yeah, well, you know what? Let's just use it. No. Why is AI doing all the jobs? AI needs to be cleaning gutters, doing dangerous stuff, not art. Not art. Why is AI doing the stuff that we want to do and not the stuff that we don't want to do? That actually...
Exactly.
Oh my God.
Train it to do the stuff we hate. Why would you train something to do the stuff that we love? For goodness sake. Silly, isn't it? I mean, AI art, I suppose, art in itself is a term for image really generation. Terrible. Yeah, AI image generation, I suppose. It doesn't think about the process of crafting.
Like, we should, like, I really like it when I see AI artists at conventions get kicked out. I love it. I love it.
I've never seen it.
So AI artists, they'll show up to like an art convention or like sell like AI generated like art, and I love it when they get caught and kicked out. It's incredible. It's like a predator catch. It's incredible.
I haven't heard of that. I haven't heard of them.
I've only seen it
going to conventions yet, but
I've only seen it a few times, but it is satisfying to see them get kicked out. It's like, you're literally just like, you suck. You need to go. You cannot have your AI art around other real artists.
Well, I think that's a sign of something reassuring. Hopefully, it will continue. But yeah, it's a weird old wormhole. It
Mhm.
is AI, but yeah, like you, you've so now, you've dabbled in longer form with your pilot, and you do your sort of frequent short form web animations. Do you have like a preference of which one you do? Like, do you like is it the process of finding the music, writing the story, then bringing it together for those longer form things that you really love, or do you really enjoy, possibly more or less, the process of finding something which is hilarious and then just being like, right, I'm going to make this into some 50 frames per second animation that I'm just going to...
I really love the longer stuff. Like I take great pride in that, in my pilot taking like a long time, because the hardest part about it is starting. So if you can get past that, it's like easy sailing, as long as you're like, you can't rush it. But no, I loved making DSD1, the pilot. There were times where I was like, man, I can't wait for this to be done, but it never like overlapped my goal of making it as best as possible. And you can see in the beginning, it was definitely quite rough. I was still learning animation, still getting used to the software. I knew nothing about it. And at the ending, it didn't even look like it was made by the same person. It looked like just way different. I learned color theory. Like, I learned a lot through the entire process. But I hope it's very inspiring for people, because look at the beginning and then look at the end. It does not look the same. And you can kind of gradually see the process of me, getting better with animation, learning more principles of it, applying it, better color theory, less messy line art, So even though the beginning looks rough, I would change nothing about it. I want people to see the progress, and hopefully it'll inspire other people to just start. But I don't recommend doing a pilot as your first ever animation like thing.
Do a feature.
Yeah.
Do something even longer.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I absolutely love that. To me, my favorite aspect, I'm going to say it, I reckon my favorite aspect of animation is the fact that you can embrace imperfections, because I think having an imperfect image is what makes that medium so fascinating, because you can tell really intricate stories and movement without the need of picture perfect imagery. You can flex that as much as either you can control or can't control. If it's something that you're starting off with, it's like it just makes animation such a beautiful medium. The fact that you can have that level of inconsistency, and like you said just now, like, I started like this, it wasn't as good as the end, but I like that, and I'm like, yes, like that is a creative choice, and I love it. I love that kind of stuff. But I feel like, as much as I love the movement and some of the styles in some like anime kind of things, a lot of the time I'm thinking, but why are you making it so clean? Have some fun with it. Mess it up a bit, It's sometimes I feel like there can be too much structure in animation, where it's like, you're literally drawing this. You can make this wherever you want. Like, loosen up.
That was my philosophy when I was making my pilot, and that's what made it fun. I didn't take it too seriously. I just tried really hard at the end, which was like, I still made it fun. So.
Yeah. But I suppose anyone's got to decide what levels there are, because I think I've watched a couple of the clips. I'm not sure if you have, but I've watched a couple of clips from One Piece, the more recent stuff, where I know the animation's a lot more wobbly. It's a lot less like clean, and it's got loads of complaints about how wobbly it all is. And if I'm honest with you, when I look at those clips, I do think that they may have gone a little too wobbly at weird choices, so it doesn't feel as impactful. Have you seen any of these like little sequences?
I'm watching One Piece. I think I'm like like 80 episodes in.
Oh wow! So okay.
I don't know if I'm as
You've been
close
avoiding
as what you're referring to.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Because some are really clean. Like I think I mentioned this to you before. Yeah, go on.
I've seen some of the clips just on like social media. Luckily, I don't know like any of the context, so nothing was spoiled. But yeah, some of what I've seen, I think it helps having him look wobbly because Luffy is like a stretchy wobbly guy. So
yeah.
But yeah, sometimes it can have a little bit too much structure to it, which kind of sucks the fun out of it. But it's still it's still like a great animation.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Not going to take that away from it. So
oh yeah,
I think it's like when you start to feel a bit motion sick by the wobbliness, I think okay, maybe we've gone too far.
Yeah,
maybe something in the image that is more consistent between frames, and then have the rest a bit more wobbly. When the whole thing's wobbly, I'm like, oh, maybe this is too much. But yeah, I don't know. I really don't care too much. Like I will enjoy a piece regardless. I do see a lot of people get really angry about stuff like this, and I think I'll get over it. It's not live action or whatever. It's a fun medium.
Did you watch the live action One Piece?
I haven't actually, because I am intending to watch the anime first, but I just do not have 1,000 episodes of time to enjoy. I want to watch Full Metal Alchemist first. That's my next one on my list. Not sure if you heard of that one, but yeah, it's supposed to be very good. I think it was Brotherhood. They did like 2 things. I don't know. I have to ask around. If anyone knows in the comments, what should I watch? Should I watch Full Metal Alchemist or Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood? Because I think they're the same.
Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood is... I think it's a remake / like... I think Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood is the most updated one. That's like the newest one. And people say it's like the best anime ever. I watched it.
I'm looking forward to it.
I think I watched it before I was an animator. It wasn't my cup of tea, but I would love to give it another shot. I feel like I wasn't I don't know. I think it was around 2020 when the whole boost of anime, everybody being inside, just kind of happened. But now that I'm an animator, I feel like I can watch any animation ever and just appreciate it. So I would love to revisit it. I liked it. I think I don't know. I forget what happened. I think I just got caught up with work, and then I just I just kind of fell. I was watching Attack on Titan. I got up to season 3, part 2, which is I've already watched all the way up to mid season 4. And I loved it. My favorite part was season 3, part 2. And then I watched it again, and I stopped right before season 3, part 2, just because I got caught up with stuff. But I was like, dang, I wonder why I didn't finish it, because it was my favorite part of Attack on Titan. But I gotta continue Attack on Titan. I haven't finished it, but I love it.
Yeah, it's so hard to set time aside, along with making all this stuff, to just actually enjoy the stuff that isn't your own.
Yeah,
it's just so difficult. But yeah, needs to be done. I think it's just as important to be inspired by animation as to be inspired by your own animation. You just find that time, I suppose. So with sort of coming back to you here, when it comes to what you do and what you make and all this stuff, do you have an end goal of what you want to be doing with your animation? Would there be anything that you want to specifically do? Do you want to take the characters you've made, or the particular process that you do? Is there somewhere you'd want to be with it? Is there an end goal?
That is a excellent question. I feel like most animators' end goal is to have a pilot or no, not a pilot, like an actual show, like on Cartoon Network.
Mm.
You know, but I mean, I feel like that's my goal. But I feel like right now, what I think is within reach is to just have something like, I can't like I would really like to make episode 2 of DSD. That is something that like I would really like to work on. But right now I've been in an art block since like January. So I want to get back into the groove of animation because I've been doing Mavo for a long time, and I want to try to branch out to different stuff. So it gets a little hard to like kind of not necessarily detach myself, but to kind of try new things, and go out of like what I've been used to, because I've been used to just drawing those 3 circles and that body and those 4 arms. I've been just so used to that. So I want to like try to branch out, get myself back in the groove. And once I do that, I think I'd be very ready to just start doing DSD, because it's just Mavo, but it's also like I want to paint all the backgrounds. I want to storyboard everything. But like I got to get out of art block first before I even do that. But I would love to have my own show, like have a team, you know, a budget, you know, all that. I feel like most animators want that. But yeah, that would be a lovely end goal one day, hopefully.
Yeah, very achievable as well. I think with with the kind of the pace and the approach that you're going, I think that's very achievable. And I think the thing with art block as well, it's like you just I find there's so many ways about going through it. It's either like finding new music or just trying something that's a complete 180, just a couple, or researching something that's a complete 180, and then maybe finding the odd bits of inspiration to pull from it. It's like, I think that's it. You've kind of got to look away from what you've been doing entirely. Is actually quite a nice way of having a hard refresh, I suppose. It's kind of like what I've experienced in the past. It's just like, what else is going on? What else do I want to learn? What else do I want to try? Or maybe this is the time to like watch something else, and then get inspired by that. Maybe. Yeah,
I'm getting I ordered a PC, so I can like I'm gonna put Blender on there. I want to try different softwares because I've been just using my iPad for like 2.5 years, and like I see like Lit Lee on Instagram. He's like really cool with his 3D animations. Bryson McBee, just incredible Blender animators and artists, and that's like really wanted me to like I really want to try Blender now. I tried learning it a while ago. I got in the groove and then I got out of it. It's like Blender is hard. Blender is not a joke. Like I feel like you need of course you need a class for Blender. I love that it's free. That is like I'm actually very surprised that Blender is free, because it is very intuitive and very good. But yeah, I feel like that's the first thing that I'm gonna get it like probably like Flash on the PC, but I really want to try Blender. I feel like that's what I need. Just like a different type of art style, type of animation, kind of try something new, and then I can go back to 2D.
I think that's a great idea. Like, especially with the accessibility of Blender. I know that you say it's like really hard, but you can totally learn it on your own. You don't need a course. You can. It just takes a bit of like, maybe give yourself a challenge of like, I want to make this particular thing. And then you can go in there and be like, right, how do I make this particular thing? And you just work at it until you find it. And then you kind of learn where things are, and it becomes a lot more natural, I think. But yeah, I think that'd be, from what I'm hearing and where you're at, that sounds like a really good idea. Just take some time.
I'm very excited.
Yeah, as you should be. That's so good. Yeah, and then you could maybe just do all your backgrounds in Blender, and you can do all your crazy.
Oh yeah, that is true. Yeah,
animations in your 2D, just overlap it onto your iPad. Or I think there's some ways that you can like connect your iPad to a computer, so you can then like draw.
Oh, can you? Are you serious?
Yeah, there is definitely for like Samsung tablets to Windows. I'm pretty sure there's some apps that allow you to connect an iPad to a Windows for that as well. So that's another option as well. I know Blender does 2D on mixed with 3D as
Oh,
well.
that's
So you can actually
right.
do 2D drawings, yeah. So that's something else, which, you might suddenly be like, this changes my entire workflow. Now I can make everything really
Maybe.
quickly.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
Yeah. That's super exciting. Because we're kind of like running out of time here, I want to sort of like move on to our final 3 questions that I've got for you. One might be quite similar to something you've already said, but if it's a similar answer, that's fine. First one of these final 3. Is there any advice that you would give a younger you?
I feel like there's a lot.
Yeah.
I would go travel
Get the
back in
list.
time. Wait, no, what were you gonna say?
Get the list.
Yeah.
All the things to say.
I would travel back in time, like 5 years, and be like, dude, just draw, please. Because, like, I think the biggest halt is like, well, art. A lot of people like say like, oh, well, art doesn't make money, so it's like, oh man, you think about that. But honestly, I just gotta like, if you make what you want, everything else will come. I got really scared because a lot of parents, like growing up, my parents, thankfully, very supportive about art. They don't care what I do as long as it like works for me. And they tell me to do art. And then like also you look at art online and it's like art is hard to make money. So it's like you get disturbed. I'm like, Chad, just do it, man. You just got to do it. I'd bring the iPad back and be like, here you go, man. Animate, man. And yeah, I would also tell myself to just enjoy the process and embrace that you kind of suck at the beginning. Because it is kind of, it's when you when you start out doing animation and the animation sucks, it's kind of hilarious, which is what I found the enjoyment in when I first began. I would tell myself that. Luckily, I knew that at the beginning, but yeah, I would just tell myself, enjoy the process and know that you can get better, because anybody can learn anything ever.
The wonderful thing about this is like, I just imagine right now a future version of you coming into your room right now, into this parlor right now, and saying to you, just start the second episode. It's just going to repeat itself.
Oh my god.
Oh man. This is your call now. It's like tomorrow you're like, right, okay, I'll just get started then. Or this evening,
Yeah.
Oh dear. But yeah, that's great advice for anyone. It's like, okay, you're not going to be good at it at first, but enjoy that. I think is really
enjoy
useful.
the zero pressure.
Yes. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and then let yourself be creative, and then don't be one of those people.
It will come.
Can't be. It will.
Yeah,
because anyone can.
Once you like find, it's like, oh god, now I know how this part works, and then you experience on that, and it's just like a rush of dopamine. It's like, oh, I got to figure it out, and then you keep going in, and then you learn other things. It's just like a cycle repeating of just learning things and the excitement. So
yeah, it's like a snowball, isn't it? Because you're gradually getting.
Oh yeah. It's very easy to get sucked in, which is great.
Yes, yeah, that's so true.
Mm-hmm.
And sort of moving on to our second question. Again, you've kind of answered this one, but you might have some things you might have missed. What do you have planned next? Because you talked about your second episode of Destiny Star. You might be learning Blender. Mm-hmm. Anything else?
The thing that I would love to do is just work on episode 2, but I would love to get out of this art block, But I think what I can see happening very soon is just working on Blender. That's what I'm really excited about, because you just reminded me that there is 2D like software, like there's 2D like animation in there, and then that's very intriguing to me, because I love it when like the camera moves around like a 3D setting and all the characters are animated over the 3D. I think that's the coolest thing ever. Like I love like fights. I love animating fights. And those look the coolest when the background is like 3D and you can really have as much manipulation as possible to move characters around like a setting. So I'm very excited for that.
Yeah, I think that's definitely going to open some doors. I especially with animated fight sequences, having a 3D background just makes everything much more.
It really does.
Fluent, and like the process of making it makes it very fluent. You don't feel like you get bogged down with anything, which is really nice. Mm-hmm. So I'm sure it's going to open some doors for you there, and you're just going to be like, right, here we go. Mm-hmm. Back again. So that brings us to our last question, which is, where can people find you?
People can find me on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, and that's it, I think. Threads.
And that's at When the Is Does. Brilliant. Oh, that's great. And thank you very much for coming on.
Oh my God, thank you for having me.
And I hope you enjoyed your slightly chunky Oreo milkshake.
Yes.
I hope that was enjoyable. Got through all the bits.
Yes. The bits, actually, I think my milkshake has been sitting here for so long. The Oreo has now become very soft. So now it's completely blended now.
It's the perfect drink.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. I mean, it's warm, unfortunately, but you can't have it all.
It's like Luke. Instead of lukewarm, it's Luke cold, kind of.
Oh, that's not too bad then. It doesn't hurt your teeth. It's just a mushy Oreo blend.
Yeah.
Perfection.
Mm-hmm.
That's great. Well, thanks for coming on, Chad. It was absolutely wonderful chatting to you, and I'm glad you enjoyed your now perfect Oreo milkshake.
Thank you for having me. Thank you so much.